Chronicles of Narnia created a worldwide success from the release of the first movie up until the third one. It took us all into a magical world with talking animals and stories full of adventure, but will there be a fourth edition to the franchise? Well, we're about to take a first look at Narnia 4, so stick around if you want to find out more. With the release of the first Narnia movie, titled The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the story about four Pevensie siblings became a huge hit, and the magical world of Narnia was all we could ever talk about. When they entered Narnia through a wardrobe, each one of us tried it at least once to see if we'd get to Narnia. Unfortunately, magical worlds inside a wardrobe only exist in movies. In the sequel movie, Prince Caspian, the movie had a different note than the first one, and it tells the story about the Pevensies as they return to Narnia after 1300 years have passed there. It was far more serious and less magical than the first one, and it had a bit of a negative effect on the box office. However, they did make a third movie to try and save themselves from the negative reviews on the second one, and they created The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which showed two younger Pevensies and their cousin Eustace on a journey to rescue the seven lost lords. While they attempted to fix the mistakes they made in the second movie, the third one ended up receiving negative reviews as well. Now, the book series that dates from the 1950s has a total of 7 books, which would mean that there's enough material for 7 movies of the Chronicles of Narnia. But it has been over 10 years since the third movie premiered, and we've been wondering, why haven't the fourth installment been made yet?
If we don't find land by tonight, they may well eat
So far, the first Narnia movie, or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, has been considered to be the best movie out of the franchise. After the release of the second and third movies, fans have been a bit disappointed with them, so that might be another reason why the fourth part hasn't been released yet. However, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Silver Chair, or the fourth installment might save the entire franchise. The initial plan for a new movie was to adapt The Magician's Nephew prequel instead, but things changed when the co-producer Walden Media lost the Narnia film rights in 2011. After 2 years, they struck a new deal to adapt The Silver Chair instead, which picks up only 1 year after the events of Dawn Treader. From this point on, there wasn't much talk about this movie until 2016, when Sony was about to finance the entire movie with plans to adapt the rest of the books. A year later, Joe Johnston was added to the team as the director, and later on, the movie claimed that it would have to reboot the original cast with a new team since all the kids from the original cast have already aged out of their roles. But this wasn't the end of the changes being made to the franchise. In 2018, Netflix announced that they made a collaboration to turn the books into a TV series in the following years. As far as we can tell, a fourth movie could be in development since it was talked about before Netflix made a deal. But after that, the remaining 3 books could be turned into a series. The future of this movie is quite uncertain, but we'll keep our fingers crossed that we'll get a movie instead of a series.
Come on there!
As much as we'd like to see the original cast reprise their roles, we're afraid that might be impossible due to their age. Since the last or third movie of the Chronicles of Narnia was released in 2010, it has been over 1 decade, meaning that the cast, which consisted mainly of kids and teenagers, has managed to grow up and be unfit for reprising their roles in Narnia 4. So if Narnia 4 reaches the big screen, we might get to see a completely different cast than what we're used to. We're not completely sure who will be cast in the movie, but we just hope that at least some members are being kept in it. Of course, we'd love to see William Moseley as Peter Pevensie, Anna Popplewell as Peter's sister Suzanne, Scanner Keynes as their brother Edmund, and Georgie Henley as their youngest sister Lucy. There are some actors that could come back and reprise their roles, such as Ben Barnes as Prince Caspian, Liam Neeson as Aslan, and James McAvoy as Mr. Tumnus. However, nothing is certain so far. We have very little information about this new upcoming movie, and if it's in development, we might get to see a list of cast members quite soon and even a teaser trailer. We do truly hope that this fourth installment might be the one piece they need for the franchise to continue. If you take a look at the fourth book, The Silver Chair, you'll get the entire plot of the new movie written there. However, even though the movies follow the books and are adapted from them, there are a few ways they can go about it differently. According to the novel, the movie should be set in Narnia, decades after the events that happened in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but less than a year in England. In Narnia, King Caspian X is now old, but his son Prince Rilian, who is also his only heir, is missing. Due to his disappearance, Aslan sends 2 kids to Narnia to resolve the mystery and find Prince Rilian. Those 2 kids are Eustace Scrubb, who has completely changed after the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and his best friend Jill Pole. Back in England, both Eustace and Jill are students at a boarding school called the Experiment House. Once they arrive in Narnia, their adventure begins. We could go on, but we wouldn't want to give up the plot to anyone who hasn't read the book. But it's just as incredible as the rest of them. The only dilemma that occurs here is whether they want to hear this story towards children or an older audience. The first movie was a hit because it appealed more to children, so when the second and third ones were made a bit more for adults, they lost a lot of money. However, Narnia is known for being family-friendly, and yet The Silver Chair is one of the darkest books of them all, dealing with brainwashing, oppression, and enslavement. So, we don't know if the plot will completely follow the book, or will they manage to make it a bit more family-friendly. The future of the franchise is up in the air since the release of the third movie. With the first movie, we had our hopes up that maybe this would be the next Harry Potter. But when they stopped at the third movie, we were a bit disappointed. However, Netflix had a few ideas in mind. We know that Netflix is one of the biggest streaming services for movies and TV shows in the world. Their Netflix original movies and series had always reached a huge amount of fame, and when Netflix showed an interest in making Narnia TV series, we were more than surprised. Now, the official plan is to make different series of the remaining books, but if you like us, we would believe that creating one series and making sure that each season shows the events of a different book would be a better option for making this thing incredible.
You know I'm braver than both of you. Why do you get Peter's sword? I deserve a kingdom.
This won't be the first time that Netflix has taken books and adapted them for the screen. It might not be the thing we were waiting for, but Netflix does have the budget and resources to make sure that the rest of the Chronicles of Narnia story gets told to the world, without putting anything behind. So whether or not the Narnia 4 movie will happen, or will it all just be a part of the new Netflix TV series, we believe that the story of Narnia is so great that we would watch either of them.
Well in.
On a related note, we wanted to know, what are your thoughts on Narnia 4? Let us know in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more amazing videos such as this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.